Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. I'm here with Albert Herrera, who's Senior Vice President, Global Product Partnerships for Virtuoso. Basically, he runs all of the suppliers and helps choose the suppliers along with the members of Virtuoso. And we're going to get an update from him on what's going on with Virtuoso and all of its wonderful suppliers. And this is Insider Travel Report. So Albert, here we are at Virtuoso once again.
Yes, here we are. It's the last day of the show. It is Thursday, and it's kind of sad that we're almost over.
Absolutely. And last night you had what has become kind of the Academy Awards of hotels with your hotel dinner. It's a marvelous affair every year. You give out great awards and you select top hotelier of the year and top hotel, and more importantly, things like top bar and top spa.
Right, and design and based on up-and-coming partners and all that. But the most important part of that, James, is that we have over 1,400 hotels in the network.
That's what it is now, because I know it's been coming up a little bit every year, right?
And we're very careful about those numbers because we carefully curate the collection. And for any partner that was nominated last evening, it really is only about 3% of who gets nominated. So I always say everyone truly is a winner, because to be recognized by that audience, to be on that in the list of the top 10 categories with 5 nominees each, it's a tough one. And that's a tall order, and they should all be commended.
Absolutely, and it was a great evening and everything else. Let's talk a little bit about the hotel program now. You have 1,400 in the program, and how was business last year for the whole collective of those hotels?
Well, 2018 was a banner year for every segment of the business. Right. It was like no other in the last 20 years, and that was fantastic. 2019 has let's face it, it's been a bit sluggish.
And we're also staring at an election year next year, right?
Right, and which is also something we all factor in when we do our forecasts and our budgets. And I presented this to the partners on Sunday at the partner meeting, right, giving them statistics of where we were pre-election years for the last 3 cycles, right, and leading into obviously election year, and looking what happened to the market in 16. Like, for example, Virtuoso sales were sort of flat coming into the year 2016 because people were uncertain about what was going on. We're seeing not as bad a situation, thank God. We have like 13% on the books for next year. The question is making sure that's maintained and strengthened and locked in. However, one important part to that as well is since 16, about 46% of our advisors are based out of the U.S.
Yeah, I saw that statistic, and I was astounded. I have to tell you, I've been watching your global growth for some time, and to hear that 46% of the members are outside, it was pretty astounding.
It helps tremendously, especially as you try to diversify. But let's get real as well. It's still the U.S., Canada, the established regions that have more you might say the revenue numbers. Right. However, based on these other new markets we have opened up, like Europe, Middle East, now China, it is helping making sure that business still comes through in tough years.
And of course, you also have your that program, or a preview program that you have, yes, and that's been going. I mean, some of the most wonderful properties I know are part of that program. Is that still working well for you?
Extremely, and we're very selective. It's been about 7 years since we've had this program, and we've only worked with 48 hotels, right, for preview, because we need to make sure it's not about selling the Virtuoso access. It's about making sure these partners are truly worthy of what we can sort of sink our teeth into and help them. Because the most important thing for any hotel, any partner for that matter, is you have to open with business on the books. And we have proven that to them from just not marketing, but the basics were, because we have an advisor group that we put together exclusively for this hotel in this case, these hotels, and they advise the hotel partners saying, you should be doing the following, or here's a good one. Rosewood, Hong Kong is a good example, which just as a preview hotel. The concept was, no one has a front desk. You're roomed in-house, etc. And the comments, for example, from the advisors were, that's wonderful to be roomed in suite, but if you're in a regular deluxe room, even though it's a big room, it gets a bit uncomfortable. So, being one person in a regular room and with a little desk. So they said, we would recommend you take that away. And that was enlightening. And Rosewood said they took that practice, and it's a lot better, more efficient for the operation.
So they get some consulting services. The new
Yes.
hotels, absolutely.
It's all about
from top agents.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, because the advisors are all experienced. They've traveled the world to see all these different products. So that's what's important, you know?
Let's turn to cruise, which is another big category, and you keep expanding your numbers. And of course, new categories are the river. River continues to be hot, and now we have expedition coming in. What's new on the cruise front for Virtuoso as of this year?
Well, we all know what the capacity is out there, right? So much that's being built and so much that has to be, and they need to be filled. You know, the cruise lines are coming to us to make sure that their ships are launched full with the right yielding passenger. So what we're doing now as well is we're taking our advisor database. We have them in different segments. Obviously, the multi-million-dollar producers, and how we're helping them understand what's going on and sort of providing them with access before anyone else does. Also, we're test marketing this. I announced this as well earlier this year, is we have an Elevate program. Right. We're working with 4 luxury cruise lines, targeting them with a new set of advisors. We have 50 advisors who are new to the business to help these specific cruise lines find incremental business for new to cruise.
And were these what category were these cruise lines in? All luxury, or not just
No.
not expedition?
In this case, we test marketed it with Crystal, Regent, Silversea, and Seabourn.
Okay.
And each one has a new set of advisors who've never booked them in the past, and they all have goals. So what's actually exciting is that all these new advisors, so far, it's now August, about $3.5 million on the books. That's incremental revenue.
Just from that program?
From that program alone. Of course, this doesn't include the other Voyager clubs that we do and all, but this is just for that program, but we can track directly to the revenue for that cruise line.
Now, overall, how were sales in cruises? And you can segment it out by river and expedition if you want, because...
Well, you're catching me off guard because obviously I don't have the specifics in front of me, but cruise overall is about 14% year over year. Right. And we're looking at about currently what's on the books for next year is about 15%.
Right.
Okay. River has sort of flattened out a bit.
Okay.
Because of certain areas, geographic regions.
And then you have this entire new, we'll have to see how it goes, because it seems like next year is going to be the year of expedition ships launching.
Yes, but and also, if I may digress a bit, if I may, for example, Ritz-Carlton yachts, right? That's
coming in. Right.
Yeah, coming in. Actually, they're in.
They're in.
Yeah, they're in. We've been working with them for about 2-3 months.
In with you, but which was interesting because I remember they said originally they weren't going to be part of consortium because they just had the one ship coming out, and clearly that's changed. Right?
It has, and we're very grateful to them for actually working together with our network and the advisors, more importantly, in terms of seeing the value proposition, what can we do together. And here's one of our clients who was just here, one of our advisors who was just here, had a client, when they found out that they were working with them, they had a $300,000 booking.
Wow,
$300,000
booking?
Yeah, $300,000 booking that was made this week.
Wow.
For one of their up-and-coming sailors, I believe in February.
Wow, and then of course the other one you have is Virgin Voyages, who came in as well.
Yes, Virgin Voyages is very exciting. Obviously, with the whole Cuba thing is changing a bit.
Well, they moved their ports. So
they moved their ports, but what's exciting about that, it's targeting, again, a new generation of cruise traveler, right? And demographic, and it's sexy. It's different.
Yeah, well, you have both are sort of great for first-timers who weren't used to it.
And that's what it's all about. And that's, in this ever-evolving world we live in, we're always looking for new potential travelers. Just because you're a hotel junkie doesn't mean to say you won't go on a cruise, or you're a cruise junkie, you won't go on in a hotel or take a land vacation. So there's a lot of cross-pollination in this day and age as people want to experience more and make the most out of their time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the last topic I want to talk to you about is your onsites or your DMCs, because you were one of the groups that really targeted that segment of the market and has really grown it tremendously. I don't know how many you have now, but it seems every time I turn around, I'm talking to a DMC here, or as you say, onsite. What's the status of that program, and where are you headed with that?
Well, our on-site program is 30 years old. It is one of the founding pillars of Virtuoso.
Sure, back when it was Allied Percival, probably.
Yes,
right?
yes, Allied API, Allied Percival. Well, more Allied Percival than API, right?
That's
Exactly
right.
right, God. We're dating ourselves here.
Well, then we're dating, because I know when it was Virtuoso 20 years ago, so it was pretty amazing.
And there you are, and you're coming to Vienna with us.
I hope so. I talked to a bunch of Vienna hoteliers already, and they said, I assume you're coming. So, we'll see.
So back to the on-sites. The best part about this is that obviously as times have evolved, as well as our advisor base is also a lot younger, and they, you know how it is, they sort of say, we can do it ourselves, but now they're seeing the true value of what an on-site can deliver, but also the on-sites have also adapted their ways in terms of what an itinerary is, how you present an itinerary, and they're also looking at now at they do three-way sales. Mm-hmm. So you have the advisor and the on-site who are actually speaking to the client directly. Right. So it's a full, they're embracing the whole sales process together. And because of that, it's about 70% closure rate. Mm-hmm. And that's elevated. We're also working with it's a test that we're doing. We've done this for our small to medium-sized travel agencies, mm-hmm. those that wanted to grow their business. So we have a benchmarking team that we're working with as well in terms of those that want to grow. We actually meet with them. We review financials, we review operations, best practices, and we advise them like true business consultants, because that is our role in Virtuoso.
But for the on-sites, not for the...
No, for the on-site. So
right.
We're taking the model that we've sort of mastered and created and actually pioneered for the small to medium-sized travel agencies, and we're using that same concept for the on-sites. Wow. Then when we're done with that, or when we have that sort of finessed a bit, then we'll do it for our tour operators, the small to medium-sized, because those are the folks that need this exposure. Those are the folks that need advice on tools and how to target this big world we live in. And that's what's exciting, because we've seen the sales for our on-sites grow year over year over year, and we're almost at that 500 million mark. And so it's pretty astounding.
Yeah, it's a great category. I've got friendly with a lot of the on-sites over the years, basically from here. Andrea Grisdale of IC Bellagio is a great friend, and I know a lot more of them out there. Made for Spain, Virginia won in the category this year. They're great people and really have some astounding products and can put together some wonderful programs for travel advisors.
And also, I think the one thing that we want to sort of stress is, and as Matthew brought it up in his opening speech as well, is Virtuoso is a big network now. It is, let's face it, it is large because we're in 6 continents and everything. So it's how do we grow large? How are we large, but yet feel small? Not forget the DNA of what Virtuoso is all about. So that's what we're working hard at, making sure that we don't lose that personal touch, that high touch that we've always been known to deliver.
Big yet small at the same time. Right?
Big yet small. It sounds easy, however, it's challenging.
Well, then you get big. You get offices that have this background here, like you have here in your global partner membership office, right?
It's called an oasis.
It's an oasis. You need one at this place, I tell you. That's how. Yes. Anyway, well, congratulations, Albert. The event last night, as always, was astounding. The movie you have to see sometime. We'll see at this point. I don't know if that's going to be out on the market soon.
I can believe we can post it on social media. Yeah,
it's a fun intro to the whole event. But again, it's great to spend some time with you to learn more about what's going on with your the product partnerships, and as always, this is an astounding event, and I look forward to seeing you, I guess, in Vienna.
Oh, come on. I'll see you before that.
I'm sure I will. Actually, well, we live in New York, so I probably will see you before then. But
he lives 2 blocks away from me.
Yeah, so we'll definitely see you before then, but the next big Virtuoso event for me will be Vienna. Good to see you.
Well, thanks for the privilege, and thank you all for listening. Have a good weekend, everyone.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.